Hello, and thank you for tuning in. You are tuned in to The Encourager, and thought we would go ahead and continue through the book of Enoch, and I think we are on the 76th chapter. So let's go ahead and get started. Thank you once again for tuning in. If you've been following along, however long it's been that you've been with us through this journey of exploring the book of Enoch and the others, and seeing how the truth has been behind a veil for centuries, and how what man carries around, the 66 books, is a program. And although there are sprinkles of truth in there, the majority of that book is designed to control, and its focus is money. And that's the way the Roman Catholic Church wanted it. That's the way the Vatican wanted it. That's the way the secret societies. This is where these decisions are made, behind closed doors. The places that are rarely talked about, It's no secret that they exist. There are interviews where George W. Bush was interviewed, along with several others, Mitt Romney and others, and they've been asked about secret societies, and they say, well, it's a secret. So whatever you do know is all you're gonna know, because it's a secret, right? They've been on TV saying this, right? So we know these secret societies exist, and then within them they hold secrets from the very beginning. From the way the dollar is designed, the symbols that are on the dollar, down to the very belief system that they call Christianity. It is all a means for man's greed, and spirituality is the only true belief system. Is spirituality. There is no religion in spirituality. Okay, this is why the church is the den of thieves today. This is why. Regardless of the denomination, non-denominational included. This is why. Because the people who run the organizations, in large part, they're only spitting out what they were told. Okay? But because they refuse to do the spiritual work, and by spiritual work I mean connect directly to Most High without a book and without the rules, and go into meditation and align their energy frequencies within themselves, they would find out that it's all been propaganda, like Christmas, like Easter. It's all propaganda. They would find these things out. But because the majority of man is so comfy and cozy in their systematic ways, the majority stay asleep and they die a double death. What I, along with a few others on this planet, are here to do this lifetime is to awaken us. Okay? Awaken us. These people, or these beings, I'm starting to say. These beings are here in many forms. Some are professors, some are scientists, some are public speakers, some are grammar school teachers, some are custodians, some are artists, some are musicians, some are actors and actresses. But they're here, as I am, to wake us up. Okay? To wake up the flesh man, to wake up the conscience. Okay? And the superconscious, to wake it up to the real truth of who you really truly are. And how what we look at is as instruction, the Bible, is really another form of a blueprint of yourself and your journey and what you would go through. Just as the earth is. The earth is another form of a blueprint of man. It's another form. Okay? So one day I'll speak on your body and how your body is an exact depiction of the earth. Okay? We're talking about the Nile River. We're talking about your vertebrae. There are 33 vertebrae in your back. Okay? Unless you've had surgery of some sort or born with a challenge physically, right? But generally speaking, we have 33, which is interesting depending on, considering I'm 5'9" and Shaquille O'Neal is 7'1". we all have 33 vertebrae. That's really, really interesting. So when we start to understand a couple of key things, a whole new world starts to open up to us. And places that we get access to that, again, most in this lifetime will not. I don't know how many more lifetimes there will be here. I'm thankful that this is my last. I can't say that with confidence. But man as a whole, in every way, has been filled with nothing but trash for probably 500 years, 600 years. Nothing but trash. Because the Masons or the Illuminati were started in 1776. That's also the year this country was founded. That's not a coincidence. So, it's just filled with garbage for the last 500 years. So which interestingly was when all of these changes to Bible, to Scripture, was being finalized, and then they brought that over here to Western civilization. Okay, But Christianity is a Catholic thing originally, and that is something that they cooked up. What our goal really truly is to awaken the Christos within us. That is the Christ anointing. That is the life of the one, not just that ascended, but all of the other ascended masters as well. Right? The reason why Jesus was chosen was because Most High needed to demonstrate something. He needed to show us what he expected of us. Part of the NCO Creed, Non-Commissioned Officers Creed of the United States Army, is that I will never ask of my soldiers anything that I myself am not willing to do. Okay? And I love that. That is like a foundational leadership quality. You cannot ask me to do something that you yourself are not willing to do in your leading me. Okay? So if you're fearful and afraid to go into battle, you can't push me out the door and be like, go out there and get them. No. You're not the type of leader I want to follow. If you're not standing next to me with your M16, nah, buddy. I'm going to go to another platoon. Okay. And so with society, and we see it constantly. It doesn't matter what it is that what it is you're talking about. Okay, so society has, for these years and more, done the exact opposite of what Most High has wanted. So let's leave religion alone for a minute and let's talk about other things happening here on earth. Okay, so man has decided they want to try to control the weather. So man has his hand in controlling the weather. Okay? Putting chemicals up there that increases chances of rain and all of that sort of thing, right? Right? So man has taken that authority away from the creator, the divine source, the one who said, let there be light, and put the light portal, the sun, called it the sun in the sky, put the moon portal in the moon portal and called it the night. That creator, that deity, okay? They took the power out of that deity's hands for the weather. Then that deity said, create man and woman to be fruitful and multiply, live prosperously, and worship me. Those are my only, have no other God before me. That was it, right? Oh, and don't go over there. Stay away from that. Whatever that is over there, right? Now, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. I'm going to tell you what the tree of the knowledge of good and evil really is. It's not a physical tree. Remember I said that you are an exact replica, just in a different form, of the earth and of all creation. You are a replica of that. Your physical body is. That's why you have chakra points. You have 114 of them all over your body and around you. Some of them are outside of your body, right? Most only talk about 7. But you have them all over, on your feet, right? All over. One of your feet has chakra points, and then the other feet has your organs, your internal organs, literally. Okay, any acupuncturist will tell you that. Okay, so when we start to see who we really truly are and the magnificence of the, dare I say, opportunity to be here, Because we all signed contracts. You signed a contract before your birth date. You signed a contract. At conception, you signed a contract. I will volunteer to go and fulfill this specific prophecy, this specific mission, whatever that is. Only you know. Okay? And if you don't know, it's just further calls for you to go internal and awaken your conscious and superconscious self. Okay? So let's talk about it in the sense of Adam and Eve. And like I said, the tree is you. So when the enemy told Adam and Eve, or told Eve that you, as it's told, that basically Most High is lying and he just didn't want you to become a god. Here's what Eve failed to understand. One, she already was. She was already immortal, okay? And she did not need to know the difference between good and evil, okay? Because she was protected from that view. So, what's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is disobeying what Most High gives, his statute, his commandment. That is what that tree of knowledge of good and evil was. So when that happened, then it says their eyes were opened, their 3D eyes. Prior to that, they only saw through their third eye. Okay? So their 3D eyes were opened. Okay, so something happened within them. It wasn't a physical fruit that she bit into. It wasn't a physical tree within her because she believed that lie. Something within her opened her physical eyes. And then they saw that they were naked and they sewed fig leaves together and tried to hide themselves because at that point they had stepped out of their superconscious and we're now just in the 3D, in the matrix. So again, that doesn't refer to a real tree. That's not about a real tree. All those pictures are wrong. All those stories are lies. It's what's in you. That's why it says the kingdom of God is within you. The tree of life is within you. The tree of knowledge of good and evil is within you. Okay? Within you. All right? And so again, when we start to see that it's all a big propaganda scheme, okay? When you start to see that man has taken the authority away from the Creator, and like Lucifer did in the 5D, which is why he got evicted, when Lucifer decided that he was going to step up and he was going to try to dethrone Most High, dethrone Lord of the Spirits, dethrone the Ancient of Days. When he decided he was going to do that, we know what happened. He got evicted. And there were those who followed him. And there are other angels who followed him. This is what man has done. With all that man does, this is what man has done. Okay? So, man blames it on other things, right? Because man is not good at taking accountability. That's why it's a legal system and not and not a justice system. Because man's not good at taking accountability. And man can't follow his own laws. The people who break the laws most are the people who made the laws, created the laws. Right? So, if you want to live your highest, purest, truest version of yourself, and if you're listening, then you must have some type of curiosity for it. Then I encourage you to dig in and be willing to forsake everything you ever learned, everything you ever taught in Sunday school, everything you ever taught in school, in formal education, everything you've ever been taught by your parents, by your grandmother, by your grandfather. My grandfather, my sperm donor's father, taught him to do witchcraft. Right? And then he decided to do witchcraft against me because he understood who Judy was giving birth to, if she's my mother. And he'd been doing witchcraft against me my entire life. Right? Took my first wife and my daughter, our daughter, when I was serving our country overseas. Right? So, if you are chosen, you do believe that you've been called out, set apart. You have to be willing to do what most won't. Do what almost no one won't. I don't know anyone else today who would leave their family, leave a place they've spent 20 years in a church. I don't know anyone else today who would leave all of that. I've been homeless 3 times, kidney transplant recipient, 4.5 years on dialysis, seizures up until the age of 8, 2 broken marriages that confirmation with the motorcycle start, 2 marriages that didn't last more than 3 years. And because I choose to walk a very different walk, I live a pretty quiet life, right? And I'm not like everybody else, and I tell the truth. So my daughter hasn't matured into loving that yet, and so that's a challenge for her because I'm not a bullshitter. And I call shit like it is. I'm not here to please anybody. I'm here to tell the truth. Thank you, motorcycle, for the rev. I'm not here to bullshit people. Okay? So that's not easy for someone to deal with. It's not easy for a child to understand why their parent just can't be their Superman or their Wonder Woman, and why they have to just always tell the truth and not just take their side for the sake of taking their side. I don't care who you are. I'm not dumbing down my integrity in order to protect you. I'm not doing that. I'm not lying for you. No matter who you are. Okay? So you'll have to make those hard decisions. She's 26 today, so, it's not like she's 7. Okay? So she's off on her own and she's free to live as she desires. Our job is not to convince anyone that we're living the right way, because we learn, because we're still bringing heaven and earth together within ourselves. Okay? So, It's not easy. But those are the types of things that you're going to have to be willing to give up. Growing up, Kevin was my best friend. Best friend. Throughout my teenage years and everything, my best friend. I felt like I could share anything with him. He has a bachelor's degree in child psychology, so he knows how to work the mind of a child. But I did. I thought he was the best. Never imagined he'd take my wife. Right? Never imagined he'd do spell work against me. But Most High, being all faithful, even showed me as a child I would have dreams that him and I were getting into fights, and I would be smashing his face in. You know, it's Mike Tyson and Trevor Burbick all over again. And I'd wake up apologizing, asking the Father to forgive me. But then I became an adult. I matured a little bit. And then I realized what the dreams were telling me when I was 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I realized what they were telling me. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities and powers of wickedness in this world that come to steal, kill, and destroy you because they know who you are. So hell still fears the birth that Most High is giving to me through me in this lifetime. Hell should be fearful of you. And maybe even a couple of angels. maybe a couple in the 5, 6, 7, 8D. Maybe a few of them too. Just to know you don't fuck around. Okay? You are here to do a job, and you're serious about that job. And that is first and foremost. Friends, social life, marriage, the things, the stuff, all of that stuff, that'll show up, or at least the opportunities, that'll show up. You don't even have to worry about that. But don't let any of it knock you off. Out of your circle, out of your place, out of position. Subdue the ego. Okay? The ego has you or someone. The ego has people running around, fucking everything that moves. It's the ego. The egos create Ponzi schemes. The ego created multi-level marketing. The ego creates these things. Okay? And so, the ego believes that a man doesn't cook or cleans the house. The ego tells the man that. The ego tells the mother that she doesn't have to take care of her kids. She doesn't have to be nurturing. She can do whatever she wants to. Just because she had them doesn't mean anything. She's still trying to live her life. The ego tells the woman that. It's interesting that the ego never says, well, didn't you lay down and open your legs? Or didn't you stick this in her? It's funny, the ego never says that. The ego never says, you're the one who made that dumb decision. That was you. The ego never says that. Because you will only find those answers in your conscious and in your superconscious. And being honest with yourself. And truly loving yourself and not living up to someone else's expectations. That's where you'll find those answers. That's where you find that security. That peace of mind. That's where you find it. working on one of those solar plexus, or not one of those, working on the solar plexus chakra. I was going to say one of those chakras. It's called the solar plexus. That's where that comes from. So I encourage you, start following those who are speaking what you are wanting to achieve and where you're wanting to go and how you're wanting to live. So start following Esther Hicks. Start following Billy Carson. Start following Neville Goddard teachings. Start following Bob Proctor. Listen to some Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N. They were telling us some things. And are those of them who are still with us physically. They're trying to open us up to something. I know I'm paying attention. 31:31 on the timer. I know I'm paying attention. And it was just 10:31. So there's a 31. 31, 31, 31. It just flipped to 32 when I looked over. Like 2 seconds later, it flipped to 10:32. Right. Let me look that angel number up. Okay. Angel number 1313. Okay. Oh no, 3131, I'm sorry. It could be seen as that. You could see it that way too. Yeah, I typed in 1313. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, 3131. Sorry about that. Okay. Angel number 3131 encourages you to enjoy the present moment and keep your heart and mind open to wonderful new opportunities for creativity and self-expression. Do things that make you feel creative, joyful, and loving, as by doing so you open yourself up to receive more positive opportunities and experiences. Allow your creative energies to be expressed in positive and uplifting ways, and use your gifts for the highest good of all. Create your life from a place of love, awareness, compassion, and open-heartedness, and make the most of each and every moment. Hear the siren? That's the Most High stamp of approval on this exchange between you and I, this conversation between you and I. Okay? And again, I encourage you, seek out those who are going towards your highest, purest, truest form. Okay? Forsaking all others. Forsaking religion, every denomination, again, because it's all trash. Confirmation with the motorcycle. Most High, thank you, baby. Thank you. I'm not talking out the side of my face. All right? So, do that. Okay? It's time to get going. You hit a motorcycle, it's time to get going. All right? Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, my name is Nehru. You've been tuned into The Encourager.